What is going on, and welcome back to Hungary for Success with me, FoggyPlays, on FM21. Today we're taking on Kisvárda and Ajax in this episode. The second leg against Ajax in the Europa League in the second knockout round. So it should be an interesting one. The first leg was quite tight, so not expecting to walk this one as much as I would have hoped that it would have been a comfortable victory. Not so sure it's going to be. So if you do want to enjoy this episode, do make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It makes a massive difference to the channel. Now let's get into the video. Right, fellas, so for the first game of today's episode, we're taking on Kisvárda. As you can see, the gap is only 6 points between ourselves and Fervar. We do have 2 games in hand, but we've had a little bit of a poor run of it of late since the second leg against Benfica. We did beat Újpest 5-1 in the cup, so I would imagine that's going to be one at a canter. We then lost to Debrecen, gave away a penalty late on, and then they scored with the last kick of the game, which was just exactly what was expected. Kranic was fantastic in the first half, and then fell apart in the second half, and we just beat Ajax 4-3, which it was hard fought, shall we say. Fuskas and Grodem scoring. Actually had 3 strikers scoring in that game. That was Taki Sorensen's first goal in 12. Gilmer, however, did pick up a knock. Not ideal, but the Kisvárda game should be easy enough. They're third in the league, but I imagine we should be able to do the business against them. We do have a couple of injury concerns, however. Cremosta is carrying a knock, so he can't play today. Neri is suspended, because of course he is, and Gilmer is injured. He's supposed to be recovered today. Not going to risk him. Kouassi is actually fit to play, so I'm going to put Kouassi on the bench instead of Lago. Yeah, Kouassi. Actually, Kouassi's going instead of Nunes, because Nunes not very good. And Kalsberg is fit to play, so he can go on the bench instead of Mary. So we're starting with Kranic in goal. I've had a word with him about his recent form, because as you can see, 6.48. Fucking no. We're putting Perez. Perez is starting a goal. Hernandez and Mayer as our wing backs. Medina and Katarik as our centre backs, with Kouassi and O'Neill in central midfield. Lazar and Barade as our wingers. Sorensen and Fuskas starting up front. Barreto, as you can see, is leaving. He's off to Saint Etienne. So, yeah, that's fine. 7.5 million. He wanted to leave. I did put his asking price up to 8 million after I accepted that offer. It was that or 2 Argentinian clubs, if I'm not mistaken. But he chose Saint Etienne, which kind of makes sense, because why would you not stay in Europe? Although he is Colombian, so I can kind of understand why he could potentially want to go there. Be close to his home. I'm going to tell the lads that we should win this one fairly comfortably, because we really should. And more of the same from you today. Taki Sorensen, really pushing for him to be good at the old football, because he should be. There's no reason why he wouldn't be one of our best strikers. Federa gets through. Hernandez pretty decently stops that one from getting any further than it did, but Federa is back through, and Alu Federa scores for Kisvárda 8 minutes in. We are 1 down. This is kind of what we're used to at the minute. Sheles as the striker for Kisvárda is actually in the Hungarian. Kouassi, what are you doing? Kouassi against Ajax was actually really good, and Zillard Sheles doing the business against us, which I'm not overly impressed with. Quite happy because, Hungarian manager, Hungarian striker scoring goals. That's what you want to see. Not happy that he scored against us though, because that keeps the gap at 6 points against Fervar. If we lose the league this year, I am going to be so very, very annoyed. Going to chuck a bit of encouragement at the lads. We are losing 2-0. But like I said, I think the lads are much more focused on the Europa League, because we should be winning the league fairly comfortably. Baridza hits the post. We have been so unlucky when it comes to hitting the post or the crossbar for the last 5 or 6 games. We've just been absolutely smashing the posts quite a lot. And Kishvarda, I suppose they're fighting for a Champions League place as well, so it kind of makes sense why they'd be doing quite well. But as I was saying, Kwasi played really quite well against Ajax. Spent a lot of time, winning the ball in midfield, and he's a Mazzella, so not really one to take tackling too seriously, but he's been doing the business in central midfield, and he's just been exhausted, like, all the time. He's just constantly tired. Because, as I said, he's pretty much played every game. Gitarik has been a little disappointing recently. Oh, Sorensen. And that is why Ashvani does not make it into the Hungarian team, because he is not very good. Although, to be fair, the last time we played Kishvarda, he played pretty well. He really should have taken control of that. Sorensen megged him and put it in the back of the net. And we are making a little bit of a comeback. Debrecen just had a player go off injured. Definitely not going to be what they would have hoped for. We're going to shout at the players because this has just been terrible. The players are inspired and motivated. Breed's struggling. Does have Carlsberg. We do have Carlsberg on the bench. Mayer is struggling. We also have 2 left backs on the bench. So, wouldn't want to spend too long struggling. Lazar, pretty much the only right winger we have in the team at the minute. I suppose Fuskas could move out there. We're going to chuck a bit more encouragement at the lads. The game against Debrecen really should have been one and done. Because as I said, we were very comfortably the better team in the first half. And then we just kind of fell apart in the second half. They were talking about how great their manager's team talk was. I think it was more just that we weren't great. Fuskas gets the ball taken off him. Kouassi definitely deserves at least a goal for the amount of work he's been doing for us lately. Baridze gets the ball across. Lazar is there. O'Neill. Baridze. And their keeper manages. Okay, so Asvani. Shouldn't have said anything. Asvani has suddenly turned into an absolute worldly of a goalkeeper. We're going to demand more. We're going to go attacking. And we're going to start making substitutions in the not too distant future. When I say that, I mean right now. So, Fuskas is... No. We're going to go 4-3-3. Make you a playmaker and then put Diaz in there. I've actually got so many strikers on the bench. Lazar can come off for Grodem, who I'm going to put as a complete forward here, but then I'm going to move you over to this side, advance forward, and we are going to leave it at that. Kouassi is tired, so potentially have to take him off. Yeah. Now, Fuskas is not having a great game either, but we do have Nunez on the bench. We have options. I'm going to fire up the players. Perez smothers the ball, playing a 6.4. Not having a great game. I wonder, this is one of those things where, because I made the change last minute, I wonder what Kranic have done better. But Fuskas does put the ball in the back of the net. His 21st of the season. Interestingly, Atletico Madrid and Inter Milan, the 2 teams that are chasing him, actually played each other in the last round of the Champions League, and Atletico Madrid won. So, is that Atletico Madrid showing that they're going to win the race for his signature? Probably not. Whoever pays the most money will get to sign him, because I don't care who buys him as long as they give us lots of money. Nunez is going to move over to be the Mazzella. Kouassi is going to be the box-to-box. O'Neill is coming off, even though Kouassi probably should have been the one to come off. And then, of course, Nunez has picked up an injury. Lower leg, broken leg. Fantastic. So swap the 2v to do that. And now we're down to 10. We could go to 2 wingers. Fuskas can move to the right. Grodem could move to the left. And we could leave Sorensen play up front by himself. I would rather us just try and win the game. So that is a 2-2 draw. Not ideal. And we've picked up a knock to one of our players. Parise. You weren't at your best. You deserve to come off. Lazare. Furious. I am furious. To be fair, I am less than impressed. O'Neill also had a poor game. Deserved to come off. So, that is the game against Kijverda done. Not ideal to get a draw. So it's a 7-point gap now. At one point, it was 14. That's our first draw of the season. Now, Hanvid only had 3 draws as well. So it's a fairly tight season, I suppose. Probably should have brought Carlsberg on at some point in that game. But you live and you learn. Yeah, I don't care about them. Nunes. Okay, it's a calf muscle. It's not as bad. Not as bad as it could have been. O'Neill is now 5 appearances away from making his 50th league appearance. Still never scored in the league for us. Has scored in cup games though. And we have to pay 75,000 to Man City. Oh no, how shall we survive? How will we? How will we survive? Yeah, we're gonna be back in just a second for the game against Ajax. Hopefully, even though we're playing in Amsterdam, we'll be able to do the business against them. Right, fellas. So we are back now for the game against Ajax. I think in the next round, if we do make it through against Ajax, we play, I think it's Sevilla or Lazio. Yeah, Sevilla or Lazio. And then if we make it through that one, we could take on Roma, Slavia Prague, Dinamo Kiev, or PSV. We have had our youth intake actually. Completely forgot about it until one of the players popped up and had something to do with training. The only one that's really worth talking about is Istvan Kalmar, who looks a pretty decent striker. 20 determination, I do enjoy. 5'9", so he's not the shortest player in the world, but he's also not very tall. We're teaching him to be a complete forward because that covers the majority of his attributes. Try and get him trained up. We also took in a couple of players, but not many of them are very good. Like this guy is probably never going to reach that potential, but we'll see. It's not great. It's not very good. This guy, I just looked at his numbers and I was like, yeah, he's not great. 1 strength. Also has 1 in heading, long throws, marking, penalty taking, and tackling. Pretty much everything is 9 or lower. Quite a substantial amount of things are 5, so he's not very good at all. So I don't know why they brought him through. He's spirited though, so he believes in himself. But yeah, that one guy is like the only one that really makes any bit of a shout in the team. But yeah, for this game we have some changes. Medina comes back in. Gitarik drops to the bench. Gilmar and Carlsberg come back in because Gilmar is not injured anymore, and Carlsberg because we just were toothless in the last game. Other than that, don't think there's a huge amount. Nunes is only out for 3 weeks, 3 weeks. Cremost is fit, but he's not going to be he's not going to play just because there's no point in risking him. And other than that, there isn't a huge amount we need to talk about. So that's the team we're going to putting out there to take on. Medina did start. It was Neri that was suspended for the last game. It was one of them. I knew it was one of them. And we're going into this one knowing that we need really to not lose because we did concede 3 away goals. So I'm going to thrash my arms. Or am I? No, I'm going to say cannot allow complacency. Can we get them to be more motivated, or are they just going to be the regular amount of motivated? Just the regular amount of motivated. That is acceptable, I guess. This Ajax side is fairly strong. Like they've Lammers, Romero, Barrow, Davy Klassen, who actually is playing today. Didn't play in the last game, so I don't know what his ability is like. 2 of our players decided to get in each other's way. We're less than a minute in, and we're still on the first highlight. Hopefully, Carlsberg gets there. He does, keeps it in, and gets back onto it. Fuskets gets the ball forward, and Sorensen. Nice defensive header by our striker. Back to their goalkeeper. Medina wins the header. Gilmar's picked up the ball, even though it was a Romero Barrow. Actually won the ball. Gilmar What's Gilmer doing? Looking for a penalty? He is. Gilmer does a Raheem Sterling on it, falls over. Davy Klaassen pushes the player. Davy Klaassen must be so old at this stage. I'm actually going to check how old is Davy Klaassen. Penalty awarded. Of course it was. Carlsberg steps up to take it, seeing as how he's probably, I think he's our only penalty taker now. Oh, Carlsberg puts it in the back of the net. We have an away goal, which is fantastic. Carlsberg with his 29th of the season. I think we are getting to the end of Carlsberg's tenure with the club. There's more and more mumbles about wanting to leave. So potentially going to leave him go. He is 30. He's going to play 26 times for Holland, or sorry, the Netherlands, at the age of 37. He'd still probably make it into our team. He's still quite a good player. David Klaassen, not one of my favourites though. Like Van Drogelen is a very good player as well. Had him in a couple of saves previously. Paul Lopez, that is Paul Lopez. I think everyone knows that he's a decent player, if nothing else. Medina passes the ball to Neary, finds Carlsberg. I can't imagine we're going to keep Neary this summer either. Carlsberg, 2 attempts at it, but Neary's picked it up. I think Neary's going to be one of those players that we're going to lose this summer because he's going to push through a transfer to one of the big European, or a big European side, or China, because that's the way it all goes. It always goes like that. Players are always like, oh, I want to join a big club, and then they end up going to China. I think Mayer might be the same. Gilmer potentially. Sorensen has had plenty of interest from Italian sides, so I would imagine we're going to struggle to keep him. But you never know. There's always a chance. We could keep some of our players, like Mendoza, the Guatemalan. Was he Guatemalan? He was Guatemalan. The guy who went to China. He's not done very well since he left us, which is quite disappointing. The only player that's really done well in a big league that's left us is Nikola Savov over with AC Milan. He's been there or there, but he's actually playing football. And that's I suppose that's the main thing, really, isn't it? Actually getting some first team football. And unfortunately, our corner comes to nothing. We've been pretty decent with set pieces this year, as you can tell by the fact that Medina has 11 goals. So, that's not terrible. However, the Ajax defence is doing everything they can to make sure that the ball does not go in the back of the net. And Gilmer is caught offside in that one. So it's okay. Everything's fine. I'm not going to worry. You're worrying, but I'm not. Hernandez not having a great game. I did consider starting Thorson for this game because when he wasn't being sent off, he was a decent right back. But Thorson isn't as good as Hernandez. So I'm hoping that Hernandez can pick it up. We do have Bordet on the bench who could come in for him. And then again, as I said, Mayer is pretty good everywhere. And Sorensen's having a poor game as well. Like Grodem is sitting on the bench. Just want to point that out. Grodem is sitting on the bench. Could come off the bench if absolutely necessary. He's fallen off an awful lot recently as well. Not recently. He's fallen off a couple of seasons ago. We just kind of kept playing him because he's pretty good. Perez would comfortable save from the corner. Carlsberg steps up to take a free kick. And Paul Lopez manages to push behind, and Ajax have made double substitution. Lammers is coming off. Sam Lammers is a very, very good striker. As I found out when I was managing Atlanta in the beta. When he is used properly, he's very good. There's an awful lot of yellow cards in this game. We have 2, Ajax have 3. So I would imagine there's going to be a sending off in this game. Hopefully not us. Carlsberg's picked up the ball, boots it forward. Fuskas picks it up. Has Sorensen kind of in the middle. Just takes it on himself. Carlsberg with the assist. Fuskas with the goal. We are 6-3 up. We're doing pretty well. I'm going to praise the lads because that was very strong defending. Very good counter-attacking football. Nice breakaway. And we are winning. Ajax do have a corner. Medina just heads it clear. Fuskas has picked it up deep. Going for a bit of a jog down the right wing. Has Sorensen in the middle. Decides to take it himself. Sure, why wouldn't he? Huh? You'd say something if he was on a hat trick. He's not. He's got a brace. All right, we're going to make a change. Hernandez struggling, so Bordet is going to come on for him. Sorensen is struggling. Grodum's going to come on. We're going to swap the two of them around because I want Fuskas kind of being the one that leads the attack when he's playing with Grodum, because Grodum's just been less than fantastic. Gilmer picks up the ball and beautiful pass by Bordet on his stronger foot, gets across to Kasberg. Kasberg heads it into the back of the net. That is 30 for the season. Kasberg has again scored another goal. I feel like every season I'm like, oh, we're going to lose him. He stays and he turns in. He's just the best left winger. I've kind of ruined Mary's career because now he just never ever gets into the team. If Kasberg is injured, that's the only time. Kasberg doesn't pick up too many injuries. Does need a rest every now and again though. That's like the only issue I have with Kasberg. He's a fantastic player, club legend, but he spends so much time needing a rest. He is constantly tired. We're going to take off O'Neill and we're going to bring on Johansson. He hasn't had too much in the way of opportunities for game time recently. Or as I said previously, hasn't really played much this season, and I'm not 100% sure why. Because it's not like we signed a new starting central midfielder that's still at the club. Like, we have a couple of midfielders we signed that we loaned out. It just doesn't seem to be getting involved. I kind of like him. Like, that's the thing. I like him. He's decent amount of potential. I think he's down to 3.5 star now, but still, he's a good player. Could we get another beautiful cross by Bordet? We can, and Kasberg gets on the end of it for his hat trick. This game, I was freaking out, thinking that we were going to get smashed. Nah, 4-0 away from home. So now we need to keep an eye on the other game to see who we're going to be getting in the next round. Interesting that Ajax are playing two, just like standard central midfielders. Very special lads. Nobody gave us the chance. Cesar Hernandez and Sorensen did their absolute level best to try and get us absolutely nothing from that game. But to be fair, Christian Perez actually had a whirly of a game as well. So Napoli beat Rangers, Sevilla smashed Lazio, and Slavia Prague have knocked out Roma. Oh, that's unexpected. That is very unexpected. We've got £1 million for winning that. We draw Sevilla. Have we ever played Sevilla? We actually have, and we've got the run of it. We are better than them. We did lose 6-0 in one of those games, but that was 3 years ago. Nobody remembers what happened 3 years ago. There we go. Kwasi needs a rest. As was expected, Kasberg with a hat-trick and an assist. Quite a good game. Atletico Madrid are looking at Fuskas. Is Inter Milan still interested? They are. 34k. If he goes to them, it's gonna cost him. It's gonna cost him. I think I have him set for like 37 million or something. That's what if they want him that bad, they'll pay that money for him. So the next episode is going to be potentially Honved Sevilla, or we might play against ZTE just see how many goals we can score against them, because that would be fantastic. Just have a quick look at finances. 106 million in the bank. We're going to be back up kind of around 130 million by the end of this. I would imagine if we go back to 2025, we didn't have any money back in these days, and now look at us. Back here we had 3 million in the bank. Now we've got 67 million to spend on players and no one to buy. Although we have 3 strikers joining in the summer, because you can never have too many strikers. So as I said, next episode is going to be the second leg, potentially both legs against Sevilla. Depends on how our form is leading up to it. Because like I said, we've been in a little bit of iffy form. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we've got the Europa League games coming up. Like, we lost to Ferver just before we played Benfica, lost to Debrecen just before we played Ajax, drew with Kishverda just before we played Ajax. So I would imagine this Haladas game and this Honved game potentially not going to be great. People are always talking about how you've got the European hangover. We have the pre-European hangover. Like, the game beforehand is always crap. So hopefully we can smash Pushkash Academia, who are sitting 10th in the league. ZTE, unfortunately, look like they're going down. But that being said, if you have enjoyed this episode, do make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share with all of your friends. My face is freaking out because of my green screen. Thank you very much for watching, fellas, and I will see you in the next one.